Welcome back to the show where we roll into more glass techniques.
Today we're rolling up cane. So we're going to take the cane that we pulled in a previous episode, we're going to roll it up, talk about the techniques involved in that, and make a cup out of it. So buckle up.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Katie. And this is
Glass in a Flash.
Okay, so this is the cane that we're going to roll up. I have it laid out the way I want it rolled up. So I'm gonna transfer this over onto a pastorelli. The pastorelli is a cane plate. It's a ceramic plate that we're going to heat the glass on, squish it together, and roll it up. But we don't want this to transfer and stick onto the plate, so the plate is washed with kiln wash. This cane here is the height that I want it to be, kind of in relation to the length that I want the roll-up to be. If I'm gonna make a roll-up that's really small, I don't wanna use really tall cane. It just doesn't heat very well. It's gonna be a little bit awkward. This is a nice kind of standard height, but also when we add the cane to the plate, we don't want this melting over the side of the plate. So this has to be small enough to fit onto the plate. So before we transfer this, we want this cane plate to be hot. So let's talk about the cane plate. So this is the plate that we use. The kiln wash that's on it here is this really thin layer that acts as a slip, prevents your glass from melting onto the ceramic material. And this goes on the forks here, pastorelli forks. This will be heated before you add the cane to it. This enables the cane to heat up without overheating it onto the cane plate. So I'll ask Michael to help me out and heat this up. Please be polite to your assistants. Be a polite assistant as well. Will you heat up the cane plate?
Okay. So this is actually pretty important. I am forklift certified.
So the heat to get before you put your cane onto it, for me, this is my way of doing it. I like to put my hand maybe an inch above it, and if it's really too hot to be there more than a couple of seconds, I know it's ready. That's pretty perfect. An inch away from that is nice and warm. So first you'll grab Ferretti. This is metal Ferretti. You can use ceramic Ferretti. And then grab your cane. You don't have to have your cane prearranged. I prefer to, and I sometimes don't prefer to, so it doesn't really matter. It just depends on how technical you want to get. And then we want to arrange it, measure it, and get it nice and warm.
Satisfy.
To roll this up, I don't want it to melt over the sides, but I do want a nice straight angle on the back side where I want to roll it up. And then I'm just kind of pressing it to squeeze out any lines, any empty space between them. And then we'll just let that sit like this. I like to let it sit to where this heat matches the heat on top, because you added cold glass to the plate, you're not going to feel any heat through the glass. When the glass heats up, you'll feel the heat above it. So I just kind of feel it, and then we'll start to heat it when it's ready. All right, so this is ready to be heated. Michael's going to start to heat it. Michael, what do you look for when you're heating cane to not overheat it, to not underheat it?
I try and do a good cane heat in 2 or 3 heats. You don't want to roast it. You don't want to do it all at once because you don't want to overheat sections. The cane that's on the furthest end of the plate is going to heat up faster. It's just deeper in the hole and it's hotter there. I'll actually turn the plate around once, but what I can look for is I can start to see the edges of that glass soften a bit. And once I see them starting to round, that's when I want to come back out of the hole and turn that plate. We put the Ferretti on there so that I don't dump it off. That's essentially the goal. It's round glass, and if we don't have that there, it'll roll right off the end. When I'm heating this, I put the glass all the way in, and a fork like this has a T on the end, and that's also to help me prevent from twisting and turning and dumping the glass off sideways. So the Ferretti helps the glass from rolling off the end, and then the T helps me from dumping it off laterally. I can really use that to keep the plate flat. So that's probably enough time. So I do have a little bit of round right on those edges, so this is perfect.
And I'll turn this plate. I'll do some squeezing too. I like to measure about a cane less because we're gonna squeeze it. So once you have this laid out, this is what you're gonna use to measure your collar. And I like to just hang this right off the marver so I can bring it right over and measure it when I'm making the collar, which I'll show you in a minute. But Michael's gonna bring that back, and then we're gonna go in and squeeze that down, make sure that there aren't any sections that are not touching, because when you go to roll that up, the whole thing will fall apart.
So this should be well heated enough now to squeeze this, and we can take the Ferretti off, turn it around, and do one more heat for our roll up. You see how it slides around on that plate really freely? That's because of that kiln wash that's on the surface. Now when I'm heating, I also am heating with the plate really in line with the burner in the hole. In our glory holes, the burners are angled down, so we get really good circulation. So the heat is passing underneath and then back up around over the top. So we're getting really good heat circulation around the full plate. Also when I'm heating, I like to wear a glove because these forks do get pretty hot, so just a short glove. And then as I'm heating, I use that to shield myself from some of the heat, because we pretty much always have to have a door open on the glory hole, and that heat just blasts you. So if you can protect your hands a little bit, make it more comfortable for yourself, life's a little nicer.
For the collar, gather about as much as you think you'll need. It's really, I mean, you just kind of guess and judge it. You'll get better as you practice. Then you want to hold this up inside the oven to keep that heat while you let that glass retract. Hold it up, blow into the pipe, trap your air, and a bubble pops out. You want to blow the bubble all the way through so that you get a open collar. I'm just going to use the marver to shape this. You can also sit down, use the jacks to shape this, but you want to make sure all that glass is off the tip so it doesn't cover up the hole later. And I'm measuring as I do this.
So before the roll up, I like to take the tweezers, give the plate a little tap just to make sure that glass isn't sticking, and then I can actually lift, and you can see how it starts to bend really nicely. That's how I know it's hot enough.
When you roll up the cane onto the collar, you don't want the collar to be so hot that the cane takes the collar with it. So just a little bit of heat, but enough for it to stick and roll up. So you'll choose maybe kind of a little bit off the tip, roll that up all the way, and then I'm just going to sweep away any of that kiln dust that could melt in. I haven't closed that off yet because I want to close it off when I sit down. That's my preference. And then Michael's going to take the fork and put it somewhere safe where no one will touch it because it's very hot. When you are in the oven and you hold the glass down, it's going to widen, and up, it's going to close. So you have to be careful of that. And then when you're ready to close it together, just want to line it up. I start with the first two. I make sure that they're even when I start, and then I just kind of zipper it down and then push that first one in. There's so many different ways to do that, and I don't have the exact perfect way, and every cane roll up's going to be a little different. So just kind of go with the flow, get those two to touch, and you'll complete the roll up. The next step to get this into a bubble, basically you do want to close it off, which we'll get to, and you want to get rid of the texture. You also want to make sure the bubble itself, the canes, are all even. And I see a little bit of a gap between where they touched. So the marver is a really great place to start. This pressure will help cinch everything together really well. But there's a lot of little heating. Remember that the cane here is only 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 centimeter in diameter. So it's thin glass, it'll heat quickly. So there's a lot of heating and then cooling and heating and cooling involved in this step. Make sure everything's kind of solid and then push together. And I go down the piece. And then eventually I'll cut that there. To keep the cane straight, I go back and forth. Now I'm gonna twist this to make the cup. So I don't need this to look really nice, that termination point. But now I'm gonna work on getting this really, really even. We'll give it a little twist and then we'll gather over it. If you gather over this with the cane texture in there, the negative space between the two canes, you'll trap bubbles. So to get rid of that, I'll apply our trusty air compression blower, add some water to the dry newspaper. Then I'll start to press it as I inflate it. This brings the walls more to an even thickness, so it'll push the thin spots to the surface, and you can push the thicker spots in. So this will start the back, twisting. So I'll just gather over this. I have a bigger bubble, but it's not very thick, so I'll drain a lot of that off. And that was plenty of glass to make a cup out of, but might as well make it a little bit sturdier, a little bit thicker, and then we'll just make a cup. So if you want to learn the basics of how to make a cup, we have a video that we made about that, so check that out. And I'll make this into a beautiful cup. Cane cup.
Cane cup. Katie, that was a nice cane roll up.
Thanks.
What do you say about a low 5? Oh yeah, good stuff.
Well, thanks for joining us for another episode of Glass in a Flash. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave your questions in the comments.
And we'll see you next time for more.